We had this video from Chuck Colesto. It's a video of a guy. Let's see if is the audio going to play? So I don't know. Is the audio coming through?
Yep. Give it to me, Chuck.
Nope, audio's not coming through at all. But I'll just explain for you, simply put.
No, it's just not coming through for you.
I'm not seeing it on the...
I'm not hearing it.
I'm not hearing it either.
And it's not coming up on the thing. Yeah, so the audio is not playing, but that's fine. That's fine. This is a video of a guy who's a distributor. He works for an affiliate company, he says. I want to make sure I clarify that. He's got Bud Light on his arm at a liquor store. Now, this could be fake. You know, I just want to make sure that's clear. Like, hard to verify, just a random video on the internet. But this is just one of several videos I've seen of people in similar situations pointing out that the shelves are loaded with Anheuser-Busch products. And this guy says that he works for an affiliate company that only sells Bud and Bud Light products. And he's never seen sales this low, which worries him because if we don't sell these products, I don't feed my family. Like, this is my company, like that I work for. We got to do this. Yeah. And he goes, so thanks, Anheuser-Busch. Maybe I won't feed my family. I definitely think it's a little hyperbolic, but we've seen a bunch of these videos where people are reporting on the ground that sales are dropping. We've seen the stock dropping, and I think it lines up. And I think the left operates on lies and manipulation. I don't want to say all the left. I want to say the woke cult operates on lies and manipulation. And so they will twist anything as a victory, and they will twist anything you say into something negative. So here's what I have to say. I'll be fully honest. Maybe these videos are being faked by people who want to make it seem like we're winning, but I'll just take it. I look at their stock prices. Their stock prices are way down.
Yeah, so that's an independent metric, right, whereas the videos are not.
But you know what? If the stocks are dropping and there's rumors of sale decline, and then I see these videos, I'm more inclined to believe that these and other videos I've seen are probably true. Yeah. There's one video where it's just a guy standing in a supermarket and he just pans left and right, and then you see all the beer's gone. And then he pans over and all the Budweiser products still there.
Look, we're in Austin. Why don't, at some point, I'll go to a supermarket center. Why don't we just go to a supermarket and do it ourselves?
Yeah, because I wonder how pronounced it is in a place like Austin.
Yeah.
Right? So here's the other thing we're hearing. The guitar player from The Offspring, he countered Kid Rock and he was like, we're going to stock all of our shows with Anheuser-Busch products to counter the bigots. It's like, okay, I mean, it is a bit silly, I suppose, but hey, it's a culture war for a reason.
I mean,
right?
Using a guy that claims to be transgender to sell your beer is a bit bigoted. They're like using Dylan Mulvaney. It's not like...
It's even worse to use a guy to market tampons and sports bras.
Yeah, the sports bra thing was kind
of... It's like using his identity. It's so just underhanded dirtiness to sell product.
Here's what I think. I'll tell you what I think. TikTok, my personal opinion is it's not real. My opinion has never been that, my opinion has always been that it's not real. And my opinion, TikTok, ByteDance, whatever. So I said this a few years ago. I explained how a new social media platform can emerge. And I've actually talked to tech companies about this. Here's what you do. Create an app, then market that app on Instagram, Facebook, or wherever to teenagers. Say, the new cool app to do this thing. Hire a bunch of young people to do a fun thing like, singing songs. Then when they download it and they make a post, give them 150 likes. Give them 50 new followers. They're going to respond to that positive reinforcement and they're going to be like, whoa, I got a bunch of new followers. You give them fake followers and eventually all of these kids are going to be like, you still use Instagram? That's so lame. Why aren't you using, Glabo? And they're going to be like, what's that? You're not on Glabo, dude? I got 5,000 followers. And then the friend is going to go, you have 5,000 followers? Yeah, I'm a big deal. They're going to feel real good, even though there's no real humans behind that number. But that will convince their friends to get on the platform as well.
You know what's terrifying to me about that, by the way? What's terrifying to me is I have thought over the last few years that so many things were conspiracy theories that turned out to be not conspiracy theories. And now,
like all of them?
And now I'm listening. Well, that's what happens when you're looking at it from the other end of history. And now I'm hearing this and I'm thinking, that's completely feasible.
Yeah, especially with quantum computing on the horizon and artificial intelligence, you could have 100,000 followers that aren't real people that are commenting actual things in response to what you're doing.
Yeah, the governments have been doing this for a very
long time. I think the Israeli government was the first one to come out about it publicly, where they described whole entire factories of people that were online digital troll armies that were specifically making sure that they were engaging in debate and conversations that made the Israeli government look good. Joe Biden just announced a whole campaign for online influencers that are going to be his influence army for the next 2024 presidential election.
Yo.
So obviously they're paying for PR using our tax dollars to have people shill for them who are just saying and doing anything for a buck.
Dylan Mulvaney was one of them.
Yes.
Wait, wait, hold on. Joe Biden, I saw this story. This is the 50 Cent army for the Democrats.
Yes.
And Dylan Mulvaney is going to be.
I don't know if he's a part of the 50 Cent army.
He was. He went to the White House.
But I don't.
But as we know, like Hillary Clinton hired influencers, high-level influencers, even someone, I don't think we
Casey
should even.
Neistat?
Yes, to specifically make
hold
endorsement
on. Was he hired by them?
There's different ways that, of course, they conduct their businesses through PACs and different organizations. So we have to be careful with exactly how we're wording here. But I think it's fair to say that money exchanged hands for the support of this particular candidate. That money coming from, of course, either super PACs or connections organizations.
That's a bold accusation.
But when you have an influencer,
wait. In terms of Casey Neistat, this one matters. He's the biggest vlogger. He's not really doing as much content as he used to. He came out and endorsed Hillary Clinton. It is my personal opinion that likely constituted a monetary exchange from someone or somehow, because I don't see how you get a dude who like films drones and longboarding and talking about filmmaking all of a sudden coming out and endorsing a politician in an election. But it's entirely possible he's just going along with the crowd, and that's why it ended up happening.
It might be connected or not connected, but how much was the CNN deal? That's also another one that also has a lot of people looking at the situation like, how much money did he make? What did he do?
That whole thing failed. Wow.
The whole thing didn't do anything. So there's multiple ways of having people shill. But for this Biden administration to openly kind of discuss how they're going to be taking and giving money to people to shill for them, I mean, that's going to make everyone question, like, wait, are you really in support of this person, or are you just being paid to support this person?
Look, I when I go out into normal places, if you're in DC, you're going to be around a bunch of people who are hyper political. But when I go out to the movies, when I go to pool halls, when I go to the poker club or whatever, I have not met a single person who is pro-Biden, like pro-Democrat. I don't see them anywhere. And, of course, if I say something like that, I'm going to get a bunch of leftists being like, haha, go touch grass. But like, dude, I've not seen it anywhere. I go to, we've been going to Maryland Live, a casino, playing Hold'em 1-2, super inexpensive for those that are considering playing. It's like you pay $2 to play a hand, so it can be played cheaply. And out of all the tables I've played at, and this is north of DC, south of Baltimore, I have not met a single pro-Democrat person in this major urban center where it's just regular people hanging out from various ages, young guys to older guys.
Well, how do you know? Does it come up at the tables?
Absolutely. Every time without fail, someone mentions the cost of the game or the economy, and then immediately, oh, Joe Biden, he's bad. Now, don't get me wrong. I met a guy who said he thought the J6ers should be executed and he hated Donald Trump. That I get, but I've not met anybody who was like, I like this guy. Now, that could be these people voted for him, and now they really, really do regret it.
Is it a blue area?
It's the bluest as blue can be. I mean, it's we're talking about Baltimore and Maryland, and this casino is I think I don't know what city it's in, but it's 30 minutes from downtown Baltimore. It's like half an hour from DC or Baltimore, right in between. So everybody who's going there, it's people from the cities who are trying to play a game or whatever. So I kind of feel like at this point, the reasoning for why Biden's building a 50 Cent army is fairly obvious. I do not see them being able to pull off another victory. I'm seeing all these polls where they're like, Biden is beating Trump. In these states, Biden is beating Trump. And I'm like, don't care, don't believe it. I mean, look, ballot harvesting may come to save the day, but it's clear that they're going to be ramping up what I would describe as unethical and malicious tactics in the election. And the idea of a Democrat, so for those who don't know, the 50 Cent Army, what is it, in China? Anybody who posts on social media pro-CCP propaganda, they get paid 50 cents every time they do or something like that. So this is basically what we're going to start seeing with Democrats. And that's probably what's already happening. So when we're talking about Anheuser-Busch, we're talking about Dylan Mulvaney and the algorithmic manipulation. That is what the Democrats are riding that wave.
Yeah, the thing you didn't say, which I think needs to be said, which speaks to your point, is what this does to the integrity of the system overall. This is what causes a legitimacy crisis, right? So we don't trust our institutions. We now think the people we like on social media, they're being paid. I've never taken a single penny for anything, my Twitter feed, anything. I think that compromises the integrity. But when you do that in a political level, it's terrifying to me.
Yeah,
terrifying.
Absolutely, and especially when you connect it to something like the social credit score, which they do in China. Because if you complain about the government in China, you of course get downranked with your social credit score. You can't get high-speed internet. You can't travel on airplanes. You can't buy first-class tickets on trains.
It's coming.
And that's being tested in China, which they're trying to roll out and bring out here in the United States, as there's already a corporate social credit score that no one really likes to talk about.
Yeah, and
it's not a government institution, but the corporate social credit score on everyone here already exists. There is an ESG score with the corporations, but there's even another one with each citizen and civilian, with all of your private records, especially from social media, being compiled together and then soon going to be used against you later.
What's that called? Is that a program they're doing?
No, there's many different corporations keeping private records, and they sell all these private records about you and your itinerary and what you do and what you like, what you dislike, your views, your opinions. All of that is databased. So there's huge databases being built about particular individuals. Those, again, are being used by the corporations. They're being used by the government in China, and then that's where they're testing the 15-minute cities. So if you say something bad, well, your 15-minute city might be a 5-minute city. And they're already locking down grids. They're already testing it. They're doing a trial run of that in the United Kingdom. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening.
Hold on, Lulu. Explain the difference. What does 15-minute, what does 5-minute mean?
Well, this is the restrictions that they're setting up, pretty much essentially prisons, pretty much essentially lockdowns. They did this in China and they tested it during COVID. They locked down entire communities because they said they had a positive case. But what a lot of people are saying, that this was most likely a larger test to see how these 15-minute cities would work, because they would lock down entire neighborhoods and say, you can't move between this street and this street. You can't go between here and here. They tested it out in Australia, where people were fined and arrested from going from one city block to another city block because they were going through an imaginary line in jurisdiction. So a lot of people say that there was a dry testing of this larger concept, which is essentially prison grids, internal systems where you can't move around anywhere but 15 minutes within it, and you get everything you ever wanted.
Right. The idea is that within 15 minutes of your home, you can get access to anything you would need.
Correct.
Yeah, hospitals, supermarkets, entertainment, movies, whatever it is, it's all confined here. And you better not go around. This is, again, to de-incentivize people from driving, de-incentivize people from having personal liberty, track, trace, and database of society, of total control grid of information, knowing every little thing about you, and then that information being used against you in every way. And if you're not a part of the 50 Cent Army, well, your ability to move around is going to be limited a lot more, because the checkpoints are already there. They're digital, and they have cameras and facial recognition, and
all right,
they're setting it up. It's pretty much.
I want to say something. There's a viral video we talked about. It's really funny. It's where a guy says he wants to show you a perfect example of a 15-minute scene, how it works, and then he walks up this little shed and he says, "Let me show you a 50-cent city." When he opens it up, chickens, and he goes, "Welcome to a 15-minute city." He walks inside and says, "Here, the citizens have everything they could hope for. Well, they could go outside if they want. Look, the door's open. They don't want to leave. It's safe in here. There's no danger. They have food. They have water. It's always there for them." And then he walks into another room and he goes, "You see this?" And he starts grabbing eggs and he goes, "They make these and I take them from them. But that's okay. They're happy because they're safe in their 15-minute city." So he made a really great point. And I want to make a point on top of that. Could you imagine if you went to your chicken coop one day to collect chickens and a bunch of roosters pulled out guns and pointed them at you and said, "You're not taking the eggs this time"? You'd be like, "What? How did these chickens have guns?" And then you go and be like, "We got to take these guns away." It was, "Well, we can't." Like, the chickens have guns. And you're like, "I don't know how they're even using them." And then you got to figure out, how do you disarm the chickens? If they're armed and they can fight back, you can't take from them, you can't imprison them, you can't control them. They're on an equal footing with you. Obviously, chickens don't have guns. My point is, if someone is trying to control you and you have the means of telling them no, they cannot implement their authoritarian fascist takeovers. And that's what we've seen throughout history when despots and fascists try to take over.
Yeah.
Guns make it very difficult.
That was one of the impetus of the Second Amendment.
And that's why they're doing this in China. They did this in China. They're doing this in the United Kingdom. They did this in Australia during COVID. Right now in Oxford, specifically in the United Kingdom, they're doing the trial run for the 15-minute cities, blocking people from traveling one road to another, all in the name of sustainability. It's not sustainability, it's enslavement. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if you look at the World Economic Forum, et cetera, the data, it's not framed as a conspiracy. It's not framed to manipulate, to control. It's framed to be sustainable. That's the approach that they use.
It's sustainable to have farm animals, to treat human beings like they have no dignity, no individual human spirit, and they can't live on their own, and they need to be dictated what they can and cannot do or believe in or think. And that's essentially this larger notion, this larger elitism of individuals thinking that they have the right. And they're doing this in so many instances that are so bastardized, that are so disgusting. They think that they have the right to control what goes into your head, to control what you see, what you hear. And they're doing this with big tech social media already in so many different ways, trying to engineer people to be perfect lemmings, to be perfect slaves, to acquiesce, to bow down, and to take it. And I think people who are paying attention had enough of this bullcrap.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.